Number 2012374FH, People versus Jose Guadalupe Contreras. This case is set for a pretrial conference. It was previously adjourned from August 3rd, and looks like we're waiting for some lab results. Did we receive those lab results?
We did not, Your Honor. And it's my understanding from speaking with Mr. Greer that we cannot have any sort of resolution until we do get those back. But they have been sent and we are waiting.
Mr. Greer, any comment?
Well, Your Honor, that's true. It's hard for me to advise my client if I don't have lab results back. I understand Mr. Stay's position, but I still, my client wants to see the results if it's possible. Your Honor, I think I have a date coming up pretty soon. I expect the labs to come back pretty quickly.
All right, I'll adjourn this pretrial to September 28th at 1:35.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, September 28th at 1:30?
I'll let you know. Okay, I'll call you.
September 28th
Okay.
at 1:35.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
There
It
must
was
have
just
been a
a trace
reason.
amount.
There must have been a reason.
Well, because you weren't doing it then. This goes way back.
Doing it for a while.
Yeah, this is our Cobb's here.
What's your name, sir?
2-5. Your Honor, this is
Hang on.
Kenneth
Stop,
McHenry.
stop.
I'm sorry.
His audio's not working.
Oh,
Hello?
There we go. All right. This is case number 2012350FH, People versus Kenneth Martin McHenry. Today is the date and time set for a Cobb's hearing. The court has read the defense statement and the people's statement. Is there anything that you want to elaborate on, Mr. Greer?
no, Your Honor, as I indicated in my my brief, or my memorandum, that he has done this time, and we're asking the court to consider that.
All right. Do we have, have the parties definitively determined what amount of credit, official credit that he would have?
Your Honor, I'm trying to find my file.
Your Honor, I think I submitted the emails from the prosecutor's office in my memorandum, and exhibit exhibit B is the one that we were relying on when I called Kenneth and told him that, he had 330 days credit and should be given that. And then apparently another prosecutor took a look at it and decided that might not be right. But the bottom line is that he did 330 days in jail, in either here or Kent County. And that's what we're asking for, credit for 330. That's what we discussed, right, Kenneth?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Stay?
Your Honor, the people's position is that we've made a no prison recommendation. We do not believe that the defendant posted or had posted bond on this. So we're not looking to cheat him for any of the credit. What defense counsel has been seeking is a no further jail recommendation. I cannot do that because I do not believe he has 300, or he has that much credit. Sorry, Your Honor, this case has been pending, so we used to have the exact amount that we felt he was entitled to. Let's see it in our filing, which is surprising.
Well,
I don't have the exact amount. I thought we had that in our filing.
well, there was, if I may, Your Honor, there was an email that I submitted with Exhibit C, and then it changed with Exhibit D, emails from the assistant prosecutor with different days, with the last one being 244 days, and then Exhibit C was jail time between 280 and 305. You know, and it's our position that, and Mr. McHenry has stated, as I indicate, the court knows my position.
That is correct, Your Honor, between 280 and 305. The miscommunication on the original agreement was that everybody thought it would be time served, but upon looking at, whether he had posted on this and how much time he had done, that's not correct. And that's why there were the further emails that it's a no prison recommendation, subject to whatever credit he had.
All right, but the point of today's hearing was to figure out what that credit was. And I don't feel like I'm any closer to figuring out what that credit is than I was the last time we were here in court. So what I read from the prosecution's Cobb's memorandum is that he failed to appear on December 18th, or December 11th, 2018. Then it says that he remained at large until January 24th, 2019. I don't know what happened on January 24th, 2019. When I flip over to the defense memorandum, it looks like he next got lodged on June 28, 2019. So I don't know when he was arrested, for sure. I don't know when he was in another county.
June.
So at some point, from somebody, I would like to know, after I issued my bench warrant, when was he next arrested? How much time did he serve? When did he get released on that charge that he was arrested for? And at least at that point, I can have a calculation of the number of the potential credit. Then, what Mr. Greer and what Mr. McHenry are asking, is that time enough? But I don't know, because I don't know what that time is.
I understand.
So am I missing something?
No, you're not.
Or am I missing some of the pieces of the puzzle?
I'm missing some pieces of the puzzle today as well. I don't believe the court is.
I think he also did some time in Newaygo County Jail as well before the bond was supposed. But I don't know, Mr. Freisack represented him from that.
I have this. I mean, I recall it being now about 50 days, but I'm gonna have to, I'm sorry, I apologize to the court, I'm gonna have to look at this again. It's obviously now been pending for 2 years since the original charge absconded.
So what I don't really need to know for this hearing is what the prior offers were. I don't know, I don't really care if the offer was changed, the number of days credit changed, or whatever the offer was. It doesn't impact what I'm trying to do. So I'm looking for the number of days that he was in jail after I issued a bench warrant. And then, at least then we know, I mean, I can't
I-
technically give him credit for that because he wasn't arraigned on it, but at least I could take it into consideration.
Correct.
Plus the time before he bonded out on Mr. Price's, which is the one he absconded. I mean, you agreed to give us credit for that, Mr. Chair.
All right, so,
I think it's 50 days.
we want to adjourn it again and somebody can put together a little timeline?
Yes,
I think, I thought Mr. Holmes had who was closest, but at least the way he explained it to me prior to the other ones coming in.
I've looked at the timeline, Your Honor, but it is not
And-
put in
and-
writing to you properly, so I'd ask for to be adjourned. So
That's fine, and my client, Your Honor, is out on bond, so we don't have an objection.
All right, so we'll set this for another Cobb's hearing on September 28th at 1:45.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be in touch, Kenneth, okay?
All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Huh? Yes, I think we should.
Do we know when that one's set?
It hasn't been yet, to the best of my knowledge.
All right, this is People versus Austin Vaudry. It's case number 2012390FH. And this was previously set for a pretrial conference on August 3rd. Mr. Greer hadn't had any contact with Mr. Vaudry since then. And Mr. Greer, have you had an opportunity to talk with Mr. Vaudry now?
Your Honor, I have. I spoke with him at length a few different times. This is an old case that Mr. Vaudry was given a parole violation because of this case, and he went back to prison. And so, and then he was on parole and in alternative directions, and he absconded from that, and they picked him up and brought him in, and that's why we're here. That's why this case is older. And he also, when they arrested him, picked up another case, and we waived that prelim, and that has not been set yet, I don't believe, for pretrial. And so I would ask the court we could ask if we could adjourn this to package the deal up and get it all taken care of at one time.
People would agree with that.
All right, so as I understand it, Mr. Vaudry was on parole on or about January 24th, 2020. Looks like we're dealing with just one felony here. The knowingly possessing stolen false or counterfeit registration plate of 1 to 5 year felony. So given that he was on parole at the time, this would be a mandatory consecutive. So any time that he's serving right now would not count towards that felony offense. But if we have more felonies coming, it does make sense to bring them all together. But I just want Mr. Vaudry to understand that he's not getting credit for the time that he's serving now on this offense. Do you understand?
Small
that,
word,
Mr.
Your
Vaudry?
Honor. He indicated
Yes, sir.
that.
Okay, perfect.
I do, Your Honor.
All right. So we'll set this case for pretrial hearing on let's try September 28th at 1:45. and hopefully we can get the other case set for a pretrial on the same day.
Excellent. Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be down to see you, Austin.
All right, thanks, Greer.
All right.
Okay. We're ready for the next one. They're okay. Really fun. Yep, we're all set.
That's a big one. That's gonna take one to stack. Piece of cardboard. Somebody could escape you.
This is Mr. Smith.
This is case number 19-12066 FH, People versus Jerry Smith. This case is set for sentencing today. And Mr. Smith, do you understand that you have the right to be physically present in the courtroom for sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you waive or give up that right and agree to be sentenced remotely?
I do, yes.
All right, and prosecution and defense was the pre-sentence investigation report timely made available to you?
Was, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Greer, have you had the opportunity to read the report and discuss it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Do you have any additions, corrections, or challenges?
Your Honor, I found it to be accurate.
Anything that you would like to say on your client's behalf before the court imposes a sentence?
I would ask the court to go along with the negotiation the prosecutor and myself came up with, and also what is in the PSI, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Smith, have you had the opportunity to read the report and discuss it with Mr. Greer?
I have.
Do you have any additions, corrections, or challenges?
There was a correction in the day's credit because I was originally scheduled to be sentenced on the 3rd of August, and now I'm being sentenced today. So those days from the 3rd of August to today were not included in the PSI.
Right, I calculated, I think it's 35 more days. Does that make sense, Mr. Greer?
Your Honor, I had it at 36, but,
I think they don't count today.
okay, then 35 is accurate, Your Honor. That's what Mr. Smith and myself went through yesterday.
Correct.
You agree, Mr. Zera?
I do.
All right, anything else, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Anything that you'd like to say on your own behalf?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Stay, any additions, corrections, or challenges?
No, Your Honor.
Anything that you want the court to consider?
I apologize, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
The $5,800 in restitution should be $5,200 payable to Independent Bank and $600 payable to Victor Smith.
All right, anything else, sir?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. In this case, the court recognizes that the advisory guidelines would suggest a sentence between 10 and 23 months. Courts can exercise my discretion in sentence consistent with the advisory guidelines and consistent with the plea agreement in this case. We sentence the court that this defendant served 1 year and then Owego County Jail. I'll give him credit for the 281 days that he's already served. The court would further order that he pay restitution to Independent Bank in the amount of $5,200 and $600 restitution to Victor Smith. In addition to that, there's a $68 state cost assessment, $130 Crime Victims' Rights Fund fee. I'm going to place him on probation for 2 years. There's a $30 per month standard probation oversight fee and $60 per month if he's placed on electronic monitoring or scram. The court's not going to assess any fines or costs. He's got a large amount of restitution to pay. And any questions regarding your sentence, Mr. Smith?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you have the right to make application for leave to appeal your conviction. If you could not afford an attorney, the court would appoint an attorney to represent you on appeal. The request for a lawyer must be filed with the court within 42 days. And did you receive your notice of appellate rights and request for attorney?
Did I receive it? I did receive something from Mr. Greer in mail a couple days ago, if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, there's a place for you to initial it, just indicating that you got the document. And then if you want to appeal your conviction or your sentence, there's a different spot below where you would sign and request an attorney, okay?
Okay, Your
If you're
Honor.
happy with the way things went, no need to do anything. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Huh?
Talking a week or so.
Yeah,
Come over.
I know you're gonna do well. I know
Come over,
you're,
I'll get you a
that'll be your first
Probably
stage.
stop the live stream.
For Warren Whipham, do you want me to just reset that?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.